Hey folks, welcome to Woman's Gaming Den. Today we're going to do the review for the two-player wargame, Punica, Rome versus Carthage by Phalanx Games. This is a fairly light and almost gateway style game where you can try out your hands in a light war game between you and a friend of yours. If you're not somebody who's that much into wargaming, but you were always curious as to what that felt like and what that experience was like, this would be a good one to start off with. And of course, if you wanted to do a war game between something meatier that's almost a filler style game, this probably fits that bill as well. So with that target audience component out of the way, what I wanted to do today is I'm going to give you a quick overview of how the game plays, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the things that I liked about the game, things I did not like about the game, and my overall thoughts and impressions, and a rating at the very end. So with that, let's go to the table and let's see how the game plays. All right, folks. So in this section of the video, I'll quickly talk about how the game plays. This is meant to be a quick overview. I do have a detailed tutorial video out of the channel if you want to learn how to play the game. I'll put a link for it down below. Refer to that video. That's going to help you get the game going on your end. But this really is just to give you a flavor of how the game plays. So in this game, it's meant to be a quick war game between Rome and Carthage. You really are going to go back and forth until one of the players wins. The victory conditions are pretty straightforward. You win if you control your opponent's capital, which is these regions out over here. So if I control theirs versus mine, you win automatically. Or if you control 3 areas of influence, which are these spots. So you want to control 3 of your opponent's areas of influence, or they want to control yours if they want to win. Or lastly, if you have removed all of your opponent's player pieces from the game board. So this gives you a reminder of that down over here. So those are the victory conditions you're looking for, and the victory conditions are instantaneous. You don't play the game and finish up afterwards. On your turn, the way that you're going to go about it is you will have 4 different options that you can do, and you're going to choose one of those and do that action, and you're going to go back and forth until one of the victory conditions have been met. The play rates really give these pretty straightforward. So first of all, the first thing that you can do is you can move an army or a fleet. So you can move an army to one adjacent spot. That could be one way of doing it. Or if you have ships giving you a connecting path to a different region, you can move that over there as well. So that's how movement is going to be that's how movement is going to work for the land units. And then for the sea units, you can basically take your piece and you can put this on any other water body out of the game board. That's how that movement is going to work as well. So that's a movement action on your turn. You can play a card for its effects. So you also have a hand of cards in the game. You can play a card face down in front of you and resolve the action on the bottom half of the card. You're going to ignore the top half for the purposes of this action. And you do get an explanation of all the actions that are available to you on your reference card, and a detailed explanation of what these do on your reference sheet. So you're going to play the card, do the action, and the way that you get the cards back is if you play the last card, if you played all your cards and you play the last card, you draw up everything you played before, and this starts your new discard pile out over there. So that's playing a card for its effect. You could also deploy a fleet. So if you have lost a fleet for any reason, you can deploy that by taking one of your army units off the game board, and then you get to put it out over here like that. And you're going to deploy that fleet. That's another action that you can do. And then lastly, you can pass. And the way that passing works is you're still playing a card from your hand, but you're not going to do anything. You don't do anything that's on the card. You're not doing the actions or whatever. Again, it's not really something that you want to do unless your hand is forced. But you play the card, do nothing, and you pass, and it's back to your opponent, and rinse and repeat, and so on. So this is going to keep going back and forth until one of the 4 victory conditions have been met. And of course, the way that you would get to that eventually, you are going to have battles as the game goes along. A battle is initiated anytime you share a particular region with one of your opponents. Well, when I say one, I mean your only other opponent. And battle is going to be fairly straightforward. So if I ended up over here like that, you're going to resolve the battle at the end of my turn. Assuming I moved in, that would make me the attacker. Or if they had moved in, that they would be the attacker. We are all good. Then we will add up the strength from the units. Each unit gives you 1 unit of strength, except for this particular piece, which is going to give this player 2 units of strength. Then you play cards from your hand. You'll both play it face down and then reveal. The cards will add strength to your combat value. It also allows you to do the action on the card. And then if you've played a card with the sword symbol, you get to do the action as well. As the attacker, you get to do the action first. followed by the defender, and that's how. And then you're going to resolve the combat. The winner gets to stay where they are. The loser gets to take one of their pieces off, and they have to retreat either back to where they started from if they're the attacker, or they have to find an adjacent spot that meets the legal requirement if they're the defender, and do the retreat on their end. And that's pretty much it. You're going to keep going back and forth until you meet one of the victory conditions, and then whoever does that first wins automatically. That's how you play Rome versus Carthage in Punica. All right, so hopefully I've given you a good flavor for how the game plays. Time to get down and talk about my thoughts and impressions of it. So, first things first, did I like the game or not? I'm going to start off with that because that might save you watching the rest of the video, depending on how things go. And the short of it is, I did enjoy it. I think there is one or two couple of caveats that the game should come with. And I'm going to talk about that a little later on. But overall, I think it does what it sets out to do. It is plays fast. It is a good introductory way to get into wargaming, especially if you haven't done any of that stuff before and you want a relatively easy entry into it. Also fits the bill as a filler, as I mentioned earlier on. So I think it does that job quite well on that front as well. It works, I would say, fairly decently for I assume what it would have set out to do at the start of it. So let's talk about different things one by one. First of all, components. I did like the components quite a bit. I think they fit the form factor quite well, and I think the form factor is the right one for this game. It's a light, small box, small footprint. You can play this on a fairly small table. The setup is pretty easy to do. A lot of the things are already laid out on the game board. You have a lot of reference aids, which to me says that there has been a bit of thought put into how to make this game more accessible for people who may not be as familiar with war games, which is why I mentioned that at the very start, because you do get quite a bit of stuff for something that's actually fairly easy to play. So that's good on that front. Components are good. The wooden pieces are nice. They're chunky enough, but not too chunky that they become clunky, being played out on a small shared space. So that's good. The artwork on the game board is decent. The artwork on the cards, as I mentioned, the artist is Miko, I believe. They're the same individual or team. I apologize, I'm not familiar with the background on it, but it's the same artist that did the artwork for your Imperial Classic, Imperial Legends, Raiders of the North Sea, the West Kingdom games, and all of those series. So if you've seen that art style, and if you like it, you will like what you have in here. That artwork really comes out on the cards more so than it does out on the game board. The game board is a little bit more generic in terms of the quality of the artwork. It's good, it's functional, but you're not going to look at it and go, wow, that's super detailed and whatnot. But again, it does its job, and I don't think it's meant to do anything beyond that. Anyway, the cardstock is good. The box is going to be pretty easy to put away once you're done with it. The game does come with a lot of reference material in multiple languages. So again, it feels like a little bit of a waste of paper, just given the fact that we want to be a little bit more environmentally conscious these days. So it's that is one thought. But again, from a business standpoint, I understand the fact that when you are a big publisher and you're putting out a game in multiple markets, to customize multiple versions that have different languages, this is probably an easier way to get that done. And they're not the only ones to do it. There's a bunch of others that do that as well. So I'm not going to hold that against them. But it was just something that struck me as a little odd because as I opened up the box, and I'm going to quickly show it here, taking the cards aside, like you get all of this, right? There's quite a bit of materials, and it seems like, well, there's a lot, but then you realize that a lot of it is just rule books in multiple languages and reference sheets in multiple languages and so on. But the game is language independent, so that's good. Once you know how to play the game, you don't really need much beyond just looking at the board. The cards themselves don't have text. You run on icons on them, so that's good as well. Now, how does the game play and what does that feel look like? Now that we know who the game is for, the game does play fast. The game is easy to get into. The one concern that I would have with the game is on potential replayability. Once you've played, I mean, you're going to see all the cards possibly in a single game as is. You get 7 of them, and you're going to cycle through them at least once. So you're not going to discover new actions, new abilities, new things that you can do. What you will discover over multiple playthroughs is maybe an evolving strategy. In terms of what your first game is probably going to be pretty fast and quick, and somebody's going to win potentially almost by accident, or it's just going to be like a very quick, oh look, I met one of the conditions and now I'm done. In fact, that was the same for me in my first game, where I won by beating the condition of controlling the opponent's capital, and it was simply because I had my troops positioned in such a way that I could make it to the capital by connecting through those ships. They had a troop there, I had a troop there, we initiated a battle, but I also knew that they had played their strongest card already, and that was in the discard pile, and I did have my strongest in my hand, so I was going to win the battle no matter what, from that point of view, and caught them a bit by surprise, right? Which brings me to one of the features of the game, which to me is neither good nor bad, but for you or for somebody else might be a bit of a negative, which is the game can end pretty abruptly when one of the victory conditions is met, because again, the victory conditions are pretty straightforward. You control your opponent's capital, you win automatically. You control 3 areas of influence, you win automatically. And there's quite a few different ways in which you can get that to happen pretty fast. So it might spring up as a surprise on your opponent. So you almost need both the players to be pretty much on their toes, looking out for, am I in a vulnerable spot? Am I in a position where somebody might creep in, do something that maybe ticks one of those boxes off and whatnot. So keep that in mind. But again, for me, like I said, it's neither negative nor positive. It's just a feature of the game. And I think from that perspective, it works pretty well. So I enjoy the game from that perspective. I was able to get a few playthroughs out of it. And one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that I played with enough different people to get a diverse set of feedback in terms of how people felt. Overall, I think most of the people that I played with liked it quite a bit. The one person who probably wasn't that into it was somebody who was not that into war games, and the theme, I think, put them off more so than anything else. So the game wasn't going to do much to come back and win them over at that point, because the theme is what it is, right? It's might be a very light and easy and accessible war game, but it's still a war game. It's you're not drafting bird cards, or you're not doing anything of that sort. So that's there. But I enjoyed the game quite a bit. Will it stay in my collection for now? I would say that I'm probably going to get a copy for myself. This one was, I will note, sent to me by the publisher, and I'm going to try and figure out if this needs to be sent back to them or not. But even if it does, I would like to have a copy of it for myself, so I'll probably get one. Will it stay in the long run? I think that's a little bit trickier, because, like I said, there's not a lot to discover in the game beyond your first few playthroughs. It's not a game you're going to be playing very frequently, day in and day out, right? It's something that you might break out every once in a while. And I think from that perspective, it probably could stay for a while in my collection as that goes on. So I think that's roughly it. I don't think there's a lot more for me to add on the game itself, other than to say that I've enjoyed it. And then with that couple of caveats that, replayability being a potential challenge, and the fact that the game can end abruptly, which again might leave the person on the receiving end of it with a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth. But I would say that for me, that's just a feature of the game more so than anything else. I would recommend it. Hopefully this gives you a sense on if you're part of the target audience for the game or not. And if you are, I would say it's at least worth checking out and giving it a try. So my recommendation is definitely try it. And if you're into war games and you want something light and fast, it's something that you may want to pick up for yourself as well. So with that, thanks for watching. Hopefully this gave you a good overview of the game, as well as my thoughts and impressions on it, and help you make up your mind on if this game is right for you or not. So thanks for watching. Do like our video and subscribe to the channel. It does help us out quite a bit. And there's going to be a lot more of these videos going out soon, so stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.